Welcome to What's a Beautiful Life Anyway? I'm your host, Jill Bennett. This is the channel that shares ideas to help you live your best life, because life can be beautiful if you live consciously. Well, welcome to this week's edition of What's a Beautiful Life Anyway. To live your best and most beautiful life, we all need confidence. Why is it that even the most confident among us shy away from photos or real photos? Why are people using all these filters all the time? Adele Williams is the founder of Soupy Funky Penguin and a brand photographer, and loves to help people feel relaxed and confident when having their picture taken. Welcome, Adele.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's really lovely to have you here today. Adele, one of the things that I love people to know when they're listening to the podcast is how so many of us escape a corporate job that maybe we've grown tired of, or we're getting stressed out, and start our own business. So tell us how you managed to become a photographer.
I had a baby.
Good reason.
It was never, that was never in the grand plan, the grand scheme of things. Some of these things that just happened, met the right person, and there you go. Basically, I trained up as an engineer, a systems engineer, and the idea was I wanted to be creative and design and build things. I wanted to go into robotics, and I ended up being a manager, an engineering manager in, it's a very soulless job, basically, in windowless, airless meeting rooms, the day-long meetings with lots of fusty people in mismatching business suits, and it wasn't great. I'm not judging their outfit choices, but there were socks and sandals involved. And I would sit, when I progressed to the level where I had a window seat, I would just sit and stare out of the window and think, I want to be out there. I don't want to be in here. I don't want to go to these meetings. And it's difficult, when it's a job that you can be talented at something, you can be good at something and still hate it, and it doesn't mean you have to do it. You don't have to carry on that career just because you're good at it, just because you're getting the promotions and pay rises and the accolades and the awards. I won an innovation award. Great. It's sat in a box gathering dust now, because it wasn't me. It wasn't what I was passionate about. So basically, I was always looking for, I wanted to set up my own business, and I was looking for what that was going to be in, and it took years, and the obvious choice was staring me in the face, and I kept missing it. I'd had a proper camera since I was 6. I'd just never shown anyone my best photos. I always kept the best ones to myself, showed them my second best. Never even thought of pursuing it as a career. And then I had my little one, and I was taking him along to these monthly toddler-friendly music concerts in Bristol, and it was this amazing experience, and the light streaming in through the windows, and the performer walking around the venue, and children following. And I thought, why is nobody photographing this? This is amazing. So I contacted the lady who was running the concerts, and she said, yes, she would love for me to go along and photograph, and would I photograph the mums and children while they were there listening, experiencing the concerts? Because she realised and appreciated that mums very rarely have their photos taken. They're very rarely photographed with their children. It's usually the mum's taking the photos and we're not featured. And if we are, it's an arm's length selfie, which is never the best angle. The worst one is when the children grab the phone and they take a photo of you, which you have to say, oh, it's so adorable, it's lovely. And it's the worst angle, because it's down there, and you've got the double chin, and you can see right up your nose, and your hair's a mess, and you think, I know my children love me, but looking at this, why? It's not great for self-esteem. So it was wonderful to be able to offer that. And through that, I got wedding bookings, family bookings, and business bookings. And now, since then, I've streamlined into just working with businesses, which is wonderful. And I love it. But you're right. So many people, especially women, struggle to be the face of their business. And that means your business will struggle too. And so that's where I come in. And I'm, very passionate about it.
Do you know, it's really refreshing to hear you say, you were in a career, you were good at it, you were getting the promotions, but you walked away because, and I know that having the baby sort of helped push you, but so many of us stay in careers year after year because we're doing well, because we're getting the promotions. I mean, I think most of the time I enjoyed my career, but I had a 30-year career, and certainly the last probably 10 years were after I'd had children were definitely not that enjoyable, because there was the whole commuting into London and everything else. So well done you. Well done for not going back after your baby came along.
It was a leap.
yes, but also you know, they say if you find something you're passionate about, the money will follow, and that certainly happened in your case. It's wonderful. I'm very intrigued about the name, Super Funky Penguin. So please tell me where that came from.
Well, this is a lesson for anybody who is in that stage of setting up their business and they're trying to think of a business name. I wanted to be a bit different. I didn't want to use my name. There were a couple of reasons. I wasn't married at the time, but no, I was married. When I did finally set up my business, I was married. But my name beforehand was a bit more unusual. Adele Mariette, which is more memorable. Now I'm Adele Williams. There's even another Adele Williams photographer in the UK. So I was like, I don't want to do what everybody does and use their own name for their business. I want to be different. So I have to admit, at that time I was still having a couple of glasses of wine. I don't drink so much anymore. It's probably a good thing. Had an extra glass of wine and thought, right, I'll come up with just a really fun sounding name. And the reason I chose Penguin was because now I am artistic in that I can take photographs and I can see what I have the image in my mind of what I want to create, and I can create it. But when it comes to drawing, I thought I could draw penguins. I thought I could draw penguins. I thought it would be an easy logo for me to draw and I could save money. And I lost days trying to draw a decent penguin, and it turns out I can't draw penguins. So I outsourced, and it's gone through several iterations, and I have last year finally got my branding done properly and professionally by a wonderful graphic designer who can draw penguins, fortunately. So that was the reason behind it. It's also, the name's too long. So if anyone is coming up with a business name, keep it short, because filling out forms and your email address, it gets a bit lengthy as you're writing it out. On the other hand, it is memorable. And although I have gone through cycles of doubt, thinking maybe I should rebrand and rename myself, I've had clients, quite a few clients, who've booked me because they've remembered the name, or the family member has spotted, they've seen an advert, they've seen me somewhere, and they've remembered and passed on my details. And I've even had, I think I had one wedding client when I used to photograph weddings, book me solely based on my name. Not even looking at, like, I'm not interested in the photos, love your name, want to book you. I'm like, wow. We got on really well. She loved her photos. I felt very fortunate and lucky that she'd found me and remembered me. But that's the power of having, an interesting name. So yeah, there you go. That's the story.
They always say, don't they, at networking events, make sure you've got your picture on your business card so people remember you.
Yes.
Or wear something bright, or when you do your 60 seconds, make it memorable. So yeah, I can imagine with a name like that, it would be very memorable, which is great. So many of us do leave our corporate career because we're unhappy. We're not, we're just don't want to do it anymore. It's exciting, but it's also very daunting. And we know how important it is to make sure we've got our own picture on our brand. And also that your own picture is used on social media profiles. How many cartoons or dog pictures do you see on, people aren't going to remember you very well based on what your dog looks like. But what if we're not happy with that, with our picture?
Get a new one. Get a professional in to take the photos. Because trying to take them yourself, you end up focusing, we're our own worst critics. We all are. We all look in the mirror and we know all our own faults, don't we? And if you focus on those, you big it up in your mind. So when you're trying to take a photo of yourself, that's all you can see. All you can see is your faults. Whereas if you've got somebody else there, you don't have to worry about the angles because they're sorting it out for you. The way I work is I basically make it fun. I make the photo shoots fun. So I'm chatting with my clients. I'm helping them to relax. I'm not getting them into stiff, awkward poses where they're going to feel uncomfortable, because firstly, that shows in the photos. And secondly, you know, when you look at that photo of yourself that you felt uncomfortable. So even if you look amazing, even if I take a photo that makes you look, 10 pounds lighter with different angles, you will know that you felt uncomfortable and you won't like it and you won't want to use it, even if you look stunning. So it's about feeling comfortable with yourself. And that comes from having that rapport with your photographer. And if you have fun, you're looking at the photo and remembering, I had fun that day. I felt good. A warm, fuzzy feeling that comes across in the photo as well. And your prospective clients see that and it resonates more and they want to do business with you because it's more genuine. It is such a crucial part of doing business, though, to set ourselves apart and be memorable by using our faces, by putting ourselves out there, as uncomfortable as that feels. And I know I don't like having my photo taken either. So I'm totally there on that. But without that, how do you set yourself apart from the competition? And I'm a great believer in the fact that there isn't competition because there's only one you. And the right people are out there. You just have to give them a way to find you. And if you're using photos of you in action, doing stuff, with my brand shoots, we'll get a friend of yours in or a client in to play the role of client. So we show those photos of you actually interacting with somebody. And that way, people looking at your photos can imagine themselves in the client's position and working with you and what that might feel like. It's all about visualization, which is very, very powerful. So to feel more comfortable rather in front of the camera, it's a case of taking yourself out of your own head and not focusing on the bad side. There are, the things that we consider bad, because there's stuff that, I've had clients, I encourage clients to open up to me about what they feel self-conscious about, because then I know what angles to avoid. But basically all of them, they'll say what they feel self-conscious about, and I'm looking at them thinking, your nose isn't big, you don't have a double chin, you're absolutely gorgeous, but we don't see that in ourselves. So it's getting out of our own heads and remembering that, yes, as you say, a lot of what we're seeing online, they've got filters, they're using filters. Oh, my background falling off. They're using filters. They're maybe spending an awful lot of time on makeup and getting their hair done, and it's not genuine. And if you really want to resonate with your clients, you need to show up as you. Just, in all your imperfect perfectness, just showing up as you and showing who you are. The confidence comes maybe later. I think showing up, putting in that consistency, showing up consistently, using your images, give it a try. And then the more you get to see yourself in that context, being a professional, being the expert in your field, you're portraying yourself that way, and then you start to build confidence that way. If you wait until you feel confident before you get your photos done, you will never get your photos done.
What about if we can't afford to have some really good photos taken?
It's always worth having a chat with your local photographer, because there are often packages that they don't advertise that they can offer to you. If you just talk about your needs. There's also many photographers, myself included, we offer payment plans. So you might see what feels like an insurmountable amount, but actually it can be broken down, and then it's an investment. So it is worth thinking a bit like that. You will get returns because it's about attracting clients to you. But if you do need a starting point, if you do need to get up and running, then there are simple tricks, like face a window, don't have the window behind you, keep the background uncluttered. If you use your phone, you can set it on a timer and have it just slightly above your eye line, angled down a little bit. Don't worry about getting your hair done. Don't worry about way too much makeup. Be the best version of you, as if you're getting dressed up for a special client, for a special meeting. Be presentable and neat. Declutter stuff around you, and try to breathe, relax first. And a good tip, you don't have to be looking at the camera. You can be looking to the side. You can even chat to the wall, or even have, I've done this with my son before. I've had him stood just there, and I've been chatting to him, and I do a lot of arm waving when I'm chatting. So I get photos of myself where I'm talking and I'm animated. And if you set it up on a timer, I think sometimes you can do that quick fire thing where it takes like 10 images and you can choose which one's best. But you're going to end up with photos you don't like when you do this. Just delete them, move on, keep trying. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be perfect. Photos never going to be perfect. But just keep trying, see what works, move around a bit, and try to be more animated rather than sitting there and like, trying to strike the pose. Sometimes looking away from the camera and then looking up. So you hit your 3 seconds, you count 1, 2, 3, and then look up, and you get a more natural look as well. So there are things you can do if you're on your own trying to do it.
Yeah, really good tips actually, because I cannot look at a camera and have my picture taken. And I did actually have a virtual shoot, so I was part of a book of photos from around the world that were taken virtually, and I was sort of dreading it, but they didn't turn out too bad. But like you say, I still look at some of them and think, oh dear, really good
That's
tips
okay.
there. Really
delete them and move on.
Yes, no, absolutely. So I think a good picture can help raise your confidence level for your work, can't it? And I think the idea of having pictures of you in action is really, really good as well. Really clever, really clever. So I know because I had one done, but how do virtual shoots work?
Oh, they're great. Especially if you feel anxious about having a photographer in the room with the big camera and the lens pointing at you. So it's where you use your own phone, basically. And the best bit is you don't use it that way around, you use it that way around, so you don't even see yourself on the screen. And there's some very nifty software that it's an app you install on your phone, and it's all secure. So basically, from the comfort of my office, and you in the comfort of your own home, I can connect to your phone, and you give me permission. There's an access number, so it's all secure. I can't just access your phone and download all your data. For the duration of the session, I can access your camera, and we can talk through the app as well. So I can talk you through where I want you to move to, how I want you to angle the phone. But all you see is that, and you hear my voice, and then you move the phone around. You don't even need a tripod. You can use a shoe to prop it up in, or a tin of beans with a rubber band around it. All sorts of hacks. And then basically there's not as much scope and flexibility as if you have a full in-person shoot, but you can certainly get really good photos that will certainly get you started, and are good for top-up photos. They're good for social media. You can use there's a place to use them on websites as well. I wouldn't recommend them for big banner shots, but certainly the smaller headshot type thing is great. And then that way you're guided through by a professional, and I'm using my skills to see how the shots work and how we can tweak them. You can relax because you're at home, you haven't got a big camera waved in your face, and my clients generally say they kind of forget that the camera's even on them because we're just having a chat as we go. So it's a very fun way to, and a bit quirky, a bit of a fun and quirky way to get your photos done.
And you could have someone else holding your phone, couldn't you?
Yes, you can
have someone sort of doing it for you,
if you've got a willing volunteer.
It's brilliant. And I know with mine, they were actually outside. I was in New York at my other home, and we did them in the garden and everything, so it was lovely. Now Adele, very excitingly, you're part of Small Business 100 this year.
I am.
Amazing. What is Small Business 100?
Well, it's from Small Business Saturday, which is I think it's a charitable foundation. They have the date for Small Business Saturday is the 3rd of December. This year, I think it's the first Saturday in December. And they are passionate about raising the profile of small businesses and encouraging people to shop with small businesses and to shop locally. So you might have seen their blue logo popping up, especially in the run-up to the first weekend in December. And as part of that, they select basically 100 small businesses that they consider to be inspiring and doing a good job, basically. And they showcase those 100 in the 100 days leading up to Small Business Saturday. And yes, this year I've been selected for that. So I'm over the moon to be recognised in that way. It was
amazing. And how did you get picked?
so I'm part of a few networking groups, and in one of the networking groups they were talking about all applications now open. So it is an applied for thing, and it's not an award, and we don't say we're winners. We've been selected from people from businesses who've applied. There was a lengthy application form to go through, and I just had this niggling feeling that I had to do it, and I don't know why, because I was thinking that this is ridiculous. I'm wasting my time here. There's no way I'm going to be picked. Just goes to show. Listen to your gut. So I filled it out. It was late one night, and it was late one evening, and the children were late going to bed, and I was trying to get them settled and fill out the form, and my husband was exasperated and rolling his eyes. Submitted it, forgot all about it, and remembered, got the notification like the night before, the deadline's tomorrow, and I thought maybe I ought to go in and just check what I'd written. So I went in and tweaked it and did a better job, basically, with the form. And recorded a short video as well, and submitted it. And then there was quite a long wait, and then out of the blue I got this email to say you've been selected, and I had to read the email about 6 or 7 times, and then ask a friend, am I reading this right? Have I really been selected? So it's a fantastic opportunity, and I work solely with small businesses, so to be able to help represent small businesses in that way, it's fantastic. Very happy.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's amazing. And I wish you all a very best of luck.
Thank you.
So when they say they pick one each day in the 100 days leading up to Small Business Saturday, do they email everyone on a list or something with all details of your business?
So they showcase it across social media, and they feature a different business each day across their social media channels. They also help with PR and setting up interviews with the press, and it's publicised across the media as well. So yeah, it's brilliant. Very exciting.
Amazing. I wish you all the very best of luck with that. Now, you've got a lovely free offer for our listeners, haven't you?
I do. It's all about how to help your clients find you. It's all about it's basically 3 tips that are tried and tested that I've done myself. They're 3 straightforward things that you can do right now in your business. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to help your clients find you and to help get those bookings, which I think with the current climate at the moment, a lot of small businesses are struggling. So any extra help, it's worth a shot. So I will, we'll make the link available. And it's in the format of 3 videos, me chatting for about a few minutes, explaining each of the tips and how it works and what you can do to help get those bookings in.
Brilliant. Adele, thank you so much for talking to us today.
No worries, thank you.
Post a link to that and all your contact details, etc., in the show notes. And we wish you all the best of luck with Small Business Saturday.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to this week's show. Check out all the links to the resources mentioned in today's episode and all my freebies in the show notes. See you next time.